out-season workout number 3 with me, Coach Becca Kawaoka. And today you guys are going to need a set of weights and a step. So hey, and welcome. Again, I'm Coach Becca. I'm so excited to have you guys back for session 3. This is the step that I'm going to be using. It's a low to moderate step. You could also use the bottom of a stairwell if you have that. You'll also need a set of weights. And like our last 2 sessions, we are going to begin with injury prevention. We're going to do a fun little combination that I like to do, especially prior to a run or directly after a run. Place one foot on the step, and we're actually going to be working on the back leg here, okay? So you can see my back ankle. What we're going to be doing is rolling up onto the tiptoe and then getting onto the big toe. So I'm rolling so that my toes are flexed, and then I'm pointing onto the big toe. So it's strengthening that big toe, giving a little bit of a stretch in a run-specific movement sequence. And this actually works really well if you are on stairs and you want to get a bonus stretch right here. You could let your heel hang off more deeply. But the main focus here is that we're working big toe strength and mobility in a run-specific movement sequence while getting a little bit of a stretch in at the same time. So really focus on extending from that big toe like you're pushing off of start blocks or a run or sprinting. All right, grab onto some support. And now we're just going to let that same leg that we were rolling up and down on hang off the step. So you want as much flexion in your ankle as possible, so bend it as much as you can to lengthen out that calf and Achilles. And we're just going to hold for about 30 seconds. Let's switch sides and hit that big toe raise. Again, it's the back, feet, toes that we'll be working. And I just always take it in these 3 steps. So you're just going to roll up to the toes first, get onto the point of the toes, and then roll back down. So it's almost like you're exploring every step of your heel strike or foot strike and really working to strengthen those toes. I think that is one thing that a lot of runners lack, is strengthening all of their supporting feet, toe muscles, and really breaking down a run stride and figuring out how to strengthen and mobilize specifically to running. So if you haven't done this one before, welcome. Give it a try. It's awesome. Take some focus. Take some patience. It's a little funky. It's very, very, very good, though. Don't rush it. That's the best thing you can do. All right, hop on up onto the step, and I'll stretch that Achilles and calf for 30 seconds. Just let that heel hang off the edge. Take a couple deep breaths. Maybe reflect on your run. If you're in out-season training like I am, it's time to strengthen those weaknesses. So where are you weak in the run? How could you get better? Make that connection with your mind and your body. What are you specifically doing to your body now that will translate to your run? And those things pay off. They make a difference. So connect the mind and body as much as you can here. All right, both toes on the step, heels hanging off the edge. We're going to let the heels roll down and then roll up to the toes. So we're just working kind of like you're getting a little calf Achilles stretch on both sides now. Roll up to the toes. I'm holding on to something for this, and you're welcome to as well. Take your time. Not something we should be doing necessarily too quick. I think it's all about exploring the most range of motion, getting the most movement possible at this phase. So take your time, get a deep stretch, really get up onto point there. Think about the muscles you're using, make that mind-body connection. Very good. Awesome work, you guys. We're going to move on to some shoulder pails and rails next. So we're going to use the step for that. I'll show you a couple angles of this one, but we're going to do 2 rounds per side. So place your hands up onto the step, and this is where I just think you'll see it better from the side. So see, I'm on all 4s, hips over knees. I'm going to, essentially what we're going to do is press our fists down into the step with a strong core and then lift up. So you can see me indicating there. I'm squeezing my diaphragm, engaging my core. I'm pressing my hand, one hand at a time. Push one hand into the step. Push, push, push like you're trying to break the step. Now lift that same hand up. So I started with my right hand. You could have started with either. So I'm trying to lift that hand up as high as I can off the step with a strong core. Good, let's try that again. So press that same fist down into the step, again engaging the core. Press, 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 really activating those lats, getting all those muscles fired up. And now we're going to work in the opposite direction. So we're going to lift up as high as we can to gain maximum shoulder mobility. Extend, extend. Squeeze that core. This is great for those of you swimmers out there or just people that need to work on shoulder mobility. And now I'm going to show you from the front, but we're going to switch sides. So we're going to do 2 rounds. It's about a 15-second press to a 15-second raise. So let's go to the other hand now. So I'm just indicating there, I've switched hands. Pressing down, you can see the direction my hands are facing from this angle. Don't forget the hips are over the shoulders. You're not sitting back on your heels. Okay, now squeeze that core and lift up, 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 up. Try to lift that hand straight up as high as you can. And let's do one more round, and I'm just going to show you from this side again now. Trying to give you guys lots of angles at home so you can follow along as best as you can. Let's press down for 15 seconds. Dig in like you're trying to break that step. And lift up for the last time. Engage that core, working again for shoulder mobility, shoulder control, even some shoulder strength. This is a great way to strengthen your shoulders in a body weight way. Okay, next we're going to do a single leg elevated bridge. You don't have to do it single leg or elevated. You can just do regular, both feet on the ground, glute bridges if you're having a tired day. Okay, otherwise, here's what you're going to do. Put one foot on the step. The other leg's going to go straight up. Just press those hips up and down 10 to 12 times per side. So this is great for the glutes and core. As you can tell, I'm working a lot of single leg and single arm exercises. That's because that's how my sport works, triathlon, and whatever you do, that single leg or single arm, that's why we train that way. We want activities of daily life in our sport to be reflected in the style of training that we do. Switching sides here, again, single leg glute bridge, knees at 90 degrees, drive those hips as you exhale. You can do this with both feet down. You don't have to elevate the heel if you don't want to. You can just do regular bridges with both feet flat on the ground. You've got to listen to your body by the same token. So we make it as functional as we can, but also as specific to ourselves as we can. And you always have that invitation when you're training with me. Listen to your body first and foremost. We are done with the step. So we just use that for our injury prevention sequence. Great work. We're going to do some more spine mobility here. So on all fours, it's called a T-spine rotation. This is part 1. In case you're on all fours, you're reaching back, threading the needle with one hand, and you're going to raise that arm to the sky. So you sit back. See how that front arm gets straight there? So it's a nice little lat stretch. And then I'm going to rotate towards the sky. So why don't you jump in with me here after watching those demonstrations. Again, first start with that big stretch, and then rotate through the spine, reach towards the sky. Working thoracic spine mobility. Great for swimmers. If you ride bikes and you're kind of typically in poor posture positions, this can help. I feel like sometimes when I run long, it works those muscles in this area as well, in my upper back and arms. I'm going to switch sides here. Perhaps you lift things as a living, maybe you're a flight attendant and you need to have good spine mobility and rotation. That's a nice way you could translate here. Perhaps you pick kids up a lot during the day. If you've got littles running around, this should feel good. It might be challenging for you to rotate towards the sky though here. This part is probably the most challenging, but keep at it. The more consistent you are with your mobility routines, you'll be rewarded. Flexibility, mobility, stability, consistency is key, you guys. Excellent job. Seated hip rotations plus a hip stretch. So we're going to get into what's called the 90-90 position. So my back knee is 90 degrees from my hip. My knees are at 90 degrees. And if this is really hard for you to get into, you can grab, I'm just showing you with a towel, but you might want to get a big pillow and sit on it. If you can't quite get into this position without putting any pressure, you could also put it underneath the knee if you're having a hard time getting the knees to the floor in this position. So once you're here, we're just going to lower down towards the floor and stretch out our hips, lower back, take some deep breaths. Let's think about our intention today. What are you hoping to get out of this workout? Are you correcting imbalances? Are you recovering from something? Are you getting strong where you're weak or trying to move where you're not strong? Think about your goal for today. And we're just going to take this right into a rotation now. So keep your feet in one spot and just lay your knees from one side to the other. You can leave that towel or pillow either under your bum or right there where the knees were and just kind of try to reach to touch that pillow. It all depends on what your mobility looks like today. And that's something that changes from day to day, okay? So don't beat yourself up if it's a rough day. Rather, make adjustments that fit your current rhythm. And let's just land on the other side whenever you're ready and go into a deep stretch. Taking deep breaths, focusing on that one intention, the primary intention. If you want to have a secondary intention, such as stress relief or perhaps rehabbing an injury, whatever that is. I mean, think of your primary intention and your secondary intention if you've got the space for that. And let's just go back to those rotations now. We're almost done with our injury prevention, and then we're going to get into our main set today, which does build on workouts 1 and 2. So while you can do this as a standalone workout, it's totally fine. Know that this is a progressive workout series, and I do invite you to do workouts 1 and 2 if you have not already. One benefit of subscribing is that you get a notification that can help you stay on top of this series. All right, guys, it's time for the main set. I'll give you a little bit of a lowdown on what we've got on tap today. We're going to do 2 sets of 3 exercises. Every time I teach you a circuit, we're going to do it twice, and we're always doing 12 reps. So I'll show you 3 exercises, then we'll do it again. Okay, we're going to start with the front squat press. I'll break it down a little bit more in round 1 in terms of form, and then we'll kind of jam out in the second round. So feet shoulder width apart. It's a narrow overhead press. You can just set the weights right there on the shoulders. These are demonstrations, so you can obviously do these if you'd like. But we're going to do 12 here together. So that's the way we do it. Low front squat to overhead press. So try to get those hips to the knees. Work with what your body's giving you. Just make sure that posture looks strong. You can use light weights. You could use water bottles. You could use a little bit heavier of a weight. Last workout, we did this single-sided. So this is obviously a bit more challenging to do it with both weights. Here's your front view again. We're doing 12 of these here, guys. That's why I do invite you to track your weights. It's good to keep track of anything and everything that you have the capacity for. That way you can build every time you do this workout or this segment or series. We're going to do a reverse lunge to bicep curl. So we're going to step back. We're going to do a bicep curl, and then we're going to step forward and switch legs. And we're doing 12 of these. Here we go. So like I said, I do try to break it down a little bit more in depth in our first round. Let's do 12 together. Just want to make sure you get that front and side angle before we start the set so you guys feel ready. One thing I want you to think about here is posture. So keep the shoulders over the hips if you can. Good angles in the knees. Good range of motion. So if it's too hard for you to get that back knee down towards the floor while doing a bicep curl, go lighter or just do it body weight. Just do the arm movement while you're in that low lunge. Practice the coordination of what's called a compound movement, which you can tell we're going to be doing a lot of today. Compound movements just, again, mean we're doing a lower body and upper body exercise at the same time, like a squat press or a lunge curl. You're going to utilize and recruit more muscles and therefore probably get your heart rate up a little higher. It's a little bit more functional. If you ask me, we never use just our legs or just our arms in most sports. You have to, coordinate the legs and the arms. So that's why I like using compound movements when we've established a good base. Plus, it burns a touch more calories. A few more calories, a little bit more worth it. So laying flat on our backs, we're going to do a chest press to pike, which is just a single leg V-up. So lay flat on your back with your arms at 90 degrees from the shoulder, and you're going to lift one leg, curl the shoulders off the ground. Here's what it looks like from the front. And again, we're going to do 12 total. So you're lifting your shoulders to meet the leg as you drive the arms up. Boom. There you go. That way we're working core and arms, and I love it. Good work. Good work. Lift and lift. You do not have to touch the weights together. The floor is going to stop you at 90 degrees, whereas if you were doing chest presses on a bench, you'd get a little deeper range of motion. And I bring that up because you might be able to press a little bit heavier when you're chest pressing from the floor, just as a heads up. Guys, it's time to go through those 3 exercises again, and we're going to jam it out because now you know what you're doing. Let's do 12. Great work. I hope you had some fun there. We're going to do a reverse lunge to bicep curl again, and we're going to do 12 total. Remember to stack those joints and to breathe strong throughout. Fantastic job. And now you know what's coming up, the chest press to pike. Curl the shoulders up off the floor as you drive the weights towards one leg, working chest, biceps, and core. Rock it out. Awesome job, you guys. Let's learn a new circuit. We're going to do what's called a plank pull next. And I'll show you a couple ways you can do this. Level 1, you're going to get into a kneeling plank and just pull one hand off the ground at a time, just like so. Level 2, you can do that kneeling, but you can add weight in if you feel strong. You can do a full plank there too. So those are your options. We're going to do 12 per side. Pulling that weight towards the armpit. Notice how flat the hips are. There's no torque. There's no compensation in the legs. There's no twisting there, as tempting as that might be. That does let the muscles that I'm trying to work off the hook. So if you feel yourself torquing quite a bit, the weight's too heavy, or the level that you're doing is too advanced for where you're at right now, and you need to bring it down to the knees or lighten the weight. Again, there's level 1, level 2, and level 3. Here we go. Keep those hips flat. Strengthening the upper body muscles, upper back muscles, those pull muscles, while we're strengthening the core, and obviously doing it in a single arm fashion, which I like for the core stability. Next, we've got glute bridge triceps. Laying flat on the back with the knees bent 90 degrees. Weights up in the neutral position. Drive the hips, okay? You can leave one foot on the ground, like so. Or you can do a single leg bridge, and that's going to be obviously much harder. We'll do 6 reps per side if you want the more advanced version. Making it single leg just, again, adds another element of balance, core stability, coordination. And meanwhile, what we're doing with the arms is, you can see how I'm keeping those elbows in. It's why I showed you from the front. It's all at the elbow. So you're going 90-degree bend at the elbow and then straightening or extending the arms. So bending and straightening the elbow joint is the job of the triceps, and that's what we're trying to strengthen. Think your follow-through phase of your swimming. If you're a swimmer, that's really important. Or if you're in a throwing sport, it's important for that follow-through on the throw. Now what I'm going to do is do our deadlifts. We've been doing these in workout 1 and 2, and today we're going to up the volume we do. And I want to use a little heavier weight for deadlifts than what I use for triceps. My legs are obviously much stronger than my triceps are. So here's the form for deadlift. You're going to slide the weights down, hinging at the hips as you soften your knees. And we're doing repetitions of 10 today. We're doing 3 sets of 10. And since you've done these in the past, guys, I jumped right into it. So if you need to hit pause, if you're waiting for me to stop and say those are my demo reps, I apologize. But you are doing 10 repetitions of deadlifts today. And ideally, we slowly add weight. And that's the whole point of a progressive series, so that you guys can track where you're at and you see your muscles getting stronger, see the weights you're using get stronger in a functional and safe environment with form focused. All right, that was round 1. We're going to do round 2 now. So I'm going to lower my weights again. And you might only have 1 set of weights. That's fine. In a perfect world, you can load a little bit there by increasing your weight by 10 to 15% or your volume, okay? Here's another variation of that plank pull. I'm just going to do, my weights I'm going to holding the other weight in the other hand, if that makes sense. Wordy, I know. But if you struggle with wrist flexion, that's one way out of it. So you can just see my other hand's in the other weight ready to go. So it'll be a quick switch here after 12, okay? So it's another way you can hold the weights. Notice how wide the feet are spread apart. Again, I just don't want to roll my hips outward and let my my body cheat, if you will. So you don't have to do it with your hands on the weights. It's just a little bit more comfortable for some. Just wanted to show you that here. All right, time for glute bridge triceps. We're going to lay flat on the back with the elbows directly over the shoulders at 90 degrees. You can do this with feet flat, or you could do this single leg. Let's work those triceps. It's going to be 6 per side if you're doing the single leg version. It's 12 total. 12 is your lucky number today. Keep breathing and keep those hips off the floor, working those glutes and core muscles while working the arms. Again, compound movements are the name of the game today. And it's time for that deadlift. So as you guys know, I like to go up in weight there. If you want to switch to add a little weight. Otherwise, I do invite you to add 3 or 4 reps. That's another way you can improve or progress to a degree. Obviously, you don't want to be doing 3 sets of 50 at some point. So I invite you to look into some heavier weights if needed, depending on what you got at home. All right, here we go. We're going to hinge at the hips. Slide those weights down. Here's 2. Inhale. Exhale. Crushing the glutes and core as we stand. Essentially, the deadlift is teaching us how to lift with the legs in an appropriate way so as not to throw out our backs. Nice work. Finish strong. And now, this is kind of a bonus thing because we are going to do a 3rd set of deadlifts. So we're just going to do a quick little balance exercise. Hop forward, hop backwards. Hop forwards, hop backwards. If you're not comfortable jumping, hold onto a wall or a stable chair and do a single leg calf raise. So just roll up and down on the toes. Similar to what we did in the warm-up, if you're not comfortable jumping. We are going to introduce some light stability-based plyometrics in this series. And here's a great way to kind of introduce some of that. It's a great way to strengthen the ankles. We're obviously practicing forward-backward movement. Running is essentially a plyometric. You're on one leg at all times. And you can see there, stability, not always everyone's strong suit, especially as you're rebuilding from a big season of triathlon and endurance training, etc. Endurance and power are kind of on opposite. They're inversely related, we'll put it that way. So after that little pause, we are going to go back and do a 3rd set of deadlifts. This is a bonus, right? We've been doing 2 sets of everything for the most part. We will, but deadlifts is a movement I want to progress. I'll say it again. So we're doing a 3rd set this week. And yeah, I hope that you guys feel the difference there. I hope you guys are buying into this exercise and understanding how it can help you, how it can help your posterior chain, the back side of your body, your hamstrings, your glutes. It's also just a really functional and important movement to learn. Like I've said in other workouts, you know, I've taught kids as young as really 5 in a body weight way and as old as 92. Obviously, they don't maybe lift using weights, but they learn the dynamic of a hip hinge. And I invite you to do the same and really buy into that important exercise. Single leg calf raises or single leg hops. We're just going forward and backwards. I'm not rushing. I want you to pause, get your balance. You're going to have some wobbles here if you're anything like me. You know, stability as we lead into this new season. We've got to give it the respect it deserves. Switch sides and know that not every rep is going to be perfect. But by struggling through some of those imperfect reps, we're going to get stronger. And thank you for listening to all my soapbox discussions, especially as I talk fast when I get excited. You guys are awesome. Next week's going to be week 4. I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. Again, sometimes it's 7 days, sometimes 14 days, just depending on how busy the week is. But no, I'm going to be consistent getting these out to you. So stay committed. Don't be afraid to do these workouts twice in a week, Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Friday, or whatever 2 days work for you. You can do it twice because you're going to get a new set next week. So awesome work. Keep progressing. Reach out to me in the comments if you've got questions or requests, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks so much for your time and effort today, and have a great one.